Kennimac gave a little chuckle as he spied the poorly concealed pit trap up ahead and used a rock to collapse the false tile floor. As he approached the edge, he spied the bones of a less clever adventurer with a shiny necklace at the bottom of the hole. He nimbly jumped down the 10 feet and held his prize to the torchlight, which reflected off the ceiling. His last thought before he was engulfed in transparent acidic goo was, why would someone put a glass roof on a G'day, I'm James from Zalgariath Gaming, and this is Creature Feature, where we try to spot a D&D 5e monster and see what it can dissolve. Personally, I have no idea how a seemingly simple 10-foot large cube of acidic jello became the D&D icon that it is, but gelatinous cubes can trace their origin all the way back to 1st edition, where they haunted the 10x10x10 corridors of the ubiquitous dungeons of Greyhawk, and have appeared in every version of the game ever since. They are the founding member of the Ooze creature type, which is by far the smallest family in D&D, with only 4 entries in the 2014 Monster Manual and 6 in 2025. Slow moving, a mere 15-foot speed, low CR2, so boring to look at that most people look right past them, they have somehow pseudopoded into the hearts and minds of D&D fans with a PR campaign perhaps second only to that of the owlbear. From LEGO to the D&D movie, these featureless pleat wobblers pop up continuously in campaigns, merch, and memes. So, let's see how you can get them to play at your table. Speaking of playing along, don't forget to grab your dice and ZG character sheet so you can join in with the micro-adventure at the end of this video. Gelatinous cubes are not exactly what you'd call dynamic foes. Almost invisible until they move, it takes a DC 15 perception check to spot them, and remember DMs, most of the time these guys are skulking around in dark dungeons. Unless they're carrying an open light source, even characters with dark vision will be at disadvantage to spot them, as one of the most commonly forgotten rules that I come across in play is that characters with dark vision treat total darkness as dim light, which is lightly obscured. Therefore, this imposes disadvantage on sight-based perception checks. Just a friendly reminder. Keep that in your back pocket, especially when these jelly cubes have a very poor passive perception, a measly 8. They also have blind sight, it makes up for it. This means that out to 60 foot, they suffer no such penalty as the players do. In this lies one of their advantages. Blind sight over dark vision. Make sure you don't skip that part. Because once they do move, they are only AC 6, which I believe is the lowest official creature armor class in the game. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. They make up for this somewhat with a fairly beefy HP pool, but that has come down from 84 to 63 in the new rules. But that was likely a trade-off for a big improvement to their signature engulf ability, which we'll look at in just a second. They are still immune to all the things you'd expect an amorphous blob of ooze to give 0 fire imps about, such as the charmed, fear, and prone conditions, and the last defensive upgrade they see in the new rules is an added immunity to acid, which I had to double check because why the hell was that not a thing before? I mean, the creature is literally a sentient beaker of hydrochloric acid that's dissolved too many dungeon bones. But at least they fixed it now. Switching to offense, and we have closely related the Ooze Cube and Engulf abilities. The main difference being, Ooze Cube is a passive ability for when a hapless creature wanders into the jelly, whereas Engulf is used as an action to drag nearby creatures inside the acidy death blob by moving into the target space. Both are DC 12 dex saves, but dopey creatures wandering into the cube, having failed to spot it, have disadvantage, hence use their perceptions. The nice little buff here that perhaps makes up for the slightly lower HP is Engulfed in 2025 Monster Manual now no longer triggers opportunity attacks, and a successful save by the target still has to take half of the 3d6 acid damage and is bumped into the nearest unoccupied space. Whereas in 2014, a success got you off scot-free. Another thing often overlooked by DMs, probably because of the opportunity attack thing, was that Engulf includes another 15-foot movement. This means that each turn, a gelatinous cube could move up to 30 feet, not get swung at, and eventually swallow up to 4 medium or small player characters who get dragged along for the ride. It's also worth noting that if there is no unoccupied space for the target to move into, they automatically fail the dex check. Keep that filed away for when we talk tactics. Once inside the cube, there is some nerfing related to the unfortunate meal. The target is restrained and at the start of its turn takes automatic damage that was 6d6, which is damn scary, but has now been halved to 3d6, bringing the acidity average from 21 down to 10 each turn. Player characters also begin to suffocate, but if you can hold your breath longer than you can hold on to your skin being dissolved by the acid, I would be very surprised. What is more significant is the 2025 version specifically calls out what was only implied in 2014, that this lack of air prohibits you from using spells with verbal components, making spellcasters less able to blast their way or misty step outside from in. That's pretty cool. Keeping in mind, creatures reduced to 0 HP auto-fail death saves when they take damage, and you have precisely one chance to save your unconscious buddy who gets trapped within the goo. How you do this is the same for either the trapped creature on its turn or a friendly PC who can attempt to extricate their friend on their own turn. It's a DC 12 strength check. The good news for those being slowly dissolved, instead of getting a flat strength check like you did in 2014, 2025 now allows strength athletics, which hopefully should be higher for most people. For their Good Samaritan activities, the rescuer will cop, however, 3d6 acid damage regardless of success, so make it count. The only other action the Gelatinous Cube has is a single pseudopod attack, but I really can't see any reason to use this unless you've already got a 4-pack of adventurers of tasty treats stuffed in you, and you're in TPK territory there, so the pseudopod becomes basically pointless. But how do you use this iconic creature to its full potential? Being super slow means once seen, it is often an easy target to pick off at range, so it's almost entirely reliant on ambush type tactics or clever placement by the GM in the dungeon. For me, jelly cubes are nearly always part of some type of trap scenario, which restricts the player's maneuverability and brings the deadly engulf ability to bear like a nice warm melty hug. Remember, while the DC for avoiding engulf may not be high, you can rig it in your favour by limiting the space players have to move in, such as my ceiling jelly falling into a 10 by 10 by 10 foot hole example with Kennimac in the intro. Also, it can affect more than one player per turn. It's if the creature moves into the jelly space, or the other way around. It's 10 foot wide, hit 2 guys in a corridor if you can, and you get to do the damage twice. Or if you're being super nasty, have the jelly fall from the ceiling like I did, but on a whole party of adventurers, and seeing if you can cop 3 or 4 of them. A more classic and simple version of that trap is hiding the cube in a hole with treasure at the bottom. Players fail to spot the cube, try to go after the shiny, and yummies! Have room doors lock, corridor portcullises slam down, and then the gelatinous cube oozes its way through the holes. Do what you can to make these guys more interesting and dynamic in combat, because it probably won't last long, one way or the other. When I played Dungeon of the Mad Mage, there was, spoilers, a room-sized giant jelly that I think was 30 by 30 feet. That was a fun little encounter. At a dungeon crossroads, have one pop out from each of the available directions behind the party and force the adventurers literally into a jelly sandwich dilemma as the cubes slowly approach from each side. Or, like our example with the slow-moving gibbering mouthers in an earlier episode, pair up the gelatinous cube in an encounter with other small, fast-moving creatures like sturges who can quickly engage the party and tie them up so that the jelly has time to get into range. So while they may be featureless, slow, yet inexplicably attractive despite a charisma score of 1, why not get some iconic cubes or 4 into your next dungeon crawl? If the answer is, because James, I don't have a miniature for them, I have some good news. If you head over to my Patreon via the link below and slide into the free membership tier, you can download a scaled paper mini of the Gelatinous Cube right now, along with every other monster featured on past and future creature features. Now extract yourself from one-way entertainment and grab your dice. It's time to return to Running on Empty. The passage is narrow, damp, and you feel a gentle breeze which carries the scent of both salt and decay. Water drips and a dim green light flickers just around the bend up ahead. You can tell you are headed towards the harbour as rats scuttle about your now wet ankles. Blowy instinctively crouches and motions for you to do the same. Give me a stealth check, DC 11, as you sneak forward towards the green glow. Blowy rolls